Hey everyone, welcome to the morning success call. Here we go. People are joining. Fantastic. We'll give them a little more time to join here. Okay, welcome. Today we're talking about a sales system. A lot of people that come into real estate, they don't have a sales background. They just start taking buyers and sellers, have a little notebook, write down your clients, maybe you put them into a CRM, whatever the case is, but you don't really have a real good sales process as to what you're going to do first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And this is why it's super important to really do that. If you don't have a repeatable process that's scalable, then you're not going to be able to do this, in a systemized way. And not having a process, I mean, it's fine if you're dealing with one client, two clients at a time. But if you start getting into lead generation and open houses and getting leads and going on Facebook and have a couple of prospects. Now I have two, three, five, six, seven people I'm talking to, but two of them want to see houses, one's getting pre-qualified. Because now I've got eight people I'm talking to, but I'm showing property to four of them, and one's getting pre-qualified. Well, how about the fifth one? Are they getting pre-qualified? So now you're thinking, okay, I've got this many people doing this, this, and that. It's very confusing right off the bat. So what I like to do is I like to have a process. I like to have, different buckets I can put people into. And the way I do that is by having a sales system. My sales system is repeatable. It is based on lead status. It's not based on other factors as like communication. It's based on lead status. I qualify all my clients and put them into different levels based on how close they are to achieving their transactional goal. So I might have some people in the lead stage where I'm just talking to them, trying to get them going, blah, blah, blah. As soon as we have a legitimate concern, they're legitimately interested, then I put them into a hot prospect phase where we're talking, we're having a good conversation, it's a real thing, and I'm trying to push them to the what's the next step in buying a house? Pre-qualification. Okay, are they pre-qualified? Some hot prospects might jump from pre-qualified to showing because I might show them a house without them being pre-qualified. Or why would you do that? Just to keep the interest. In some cases, someone who's really serious and really wants to buy, but they need a bit of a just incentive. I might show them a couple houses to get them motivated to apply for a property, to apply for a loan. So they might go from hot prospect to showing or hot prospect to getting pre-qualified. Now I've got people in different buckets, and I know, where they are in the home buying process and how to really hit them, how to communicate them, what kind of messaging to send them. It's like, for example, I'm not going to send to every customer a certain email because that email might not speak to where they are in the home buying process, right? If I had an email, now that you're pre-qualified, let's go see houses, and I sent to all my clients, they're thinking, I'm not even pre-qualified. This is not for me. Unsubscribe. And the more unsubscribes you get, the more junk you get, the more your business is gonna be affected online because the messaging gets unsubscribed. Okay, so the first thing I'm thinking about today is, do I have a written process that's repeatable, that I can track? Because as we go into volume, I've got to have a repeatable process that I can track. Otherwise, I'm going to lose clients. I'm going to forget about people. I'm going to forget about who I'm talking to. I'm not going to know when to hit them and with what. Okay. Now, technology plays a role into this because before, if you're like kind of person that doesn't like technology or doesn't use it a lot, you can have a notebook and you can have different pages and put the people's names in there. Do what works for you. But there's so much simple technology now that you could utilize that's free or very minimal cost that can do all this tracking for you if you set it up correctly. Now, I like to have it all online on an app where I can have it on my phone, have it on my computer, and I can kind of track my customers and my prospects that way. That way I know exactly where they're at and I can do it on the fly, mobile. I can write notes, that kind of thing. Now, the good thing about these online systems is that they have ability for automatic emails, property searches, that kind of thing. And it does kind of help you to be more technological. But what I want you to think about is don't be too complicated in this to where you don't start. A plan that's 75% good, I'm going to execute on. Um, because it's probably going to work. 80% good, let's go. And I can fine tune the other 20% as I go through. But if I'm waiting to get to 100% before I even launch, I'm never going to get there. I'm going to bog myself down. I'm going to be thinking too much. I'm not going to execute the game plan, and I'm just going to go with it. And later on, and I'm going to waste all this time. Now, so I want you to be thinking about how am I communicating with my leads? How am I keeping track of the time they've been looking, what they're looking for, where they're looking, so that I can reach out to them in an easy way? Now, I'm going to give you guys two or three of my top engagement text messages that I utilize for people in these periods. I'm going to give you an example. If I have someone who is pre qualified, but right now they are just on the fence. Maybe they are stalling their search. I'm going to look up two or three properties in the MLS that are significantly attractive. And I'm going to say, hey, John, I just saw these two come up. They may work for you. When are you free to chat? Now I'm hitting them with some property directed to them in their search. Now that's where the text message is obviously saying why I'm messaging them. Now, if I want to be a little more mysterious, a little more creative, a little more kind of mystery, I could say, "Hey, John, a couple of things just came up. When do you have a chance to chat?" Now, I'm not letting them know. They obviously know me. They know I'm their realtor. They know they're pre-qualified. They know I'm showing the houses, but they don't know what exactly has come up, right? And when they don't know what exactly has come up, that may give me an opportunity to engage them. Okay, so that's a good one that I like to utilize as well in that way. Now, um, I will say building urgency and curiosity in communications is really important because otherwise people will just ghost you. They won't care. They won't write back. They won't respond to your messages if you sound too salesy. Okay. Now, one other message that I really like is a more nonchalant message for someone who you're already talking to, you've already got some kind of communication with, you've already made a connection with, and it's, hey, John, I'm free Saturday morning before I start showing houses. Do you have a chance to get a cup of coffee? Right. So now I'm trying to meet them in person to spur some kind of activity on their behalf. Okay. Like I said, be creative with it. But the number one rule is don't be salesy. Don't sound like everybody else, and think about yourself, all the messages that you get, which ones do you ignore and which ones do you call back on. So very important. Now, on this same messaging, um, for example, I have a client who I'm messaging property to, and they just said, you know what, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. Hey, John, I saw these two great properties come on the market in Winter Garden. When do you have a chance to chat? I'll get back to you. Hey, John, where are we at with the home search? The interest rates just went down. I was really wanting to get you into look at some property. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. That objection, which we're going to cover now, I'll get back to you, is going to happen a lot when you're re-engaging someone who has lost interest. When you're going through your database and sending emails, text messages, phone calls, right? But that I'll get back to you objection, like every other objection, really, is a smokescreen, is an objection that is pretty much just there to hide their true intentions, as we talked about in the other episodes of these smoke screens. And that may sound like, I'll get back to you. Hey, let me talk to my wife and I'll get back to you. Hey, I know you gave me the information, but I'll get back to you. Hey, is it okay if I get back to you? Because right now I'm just not, I have to think about it and that kind of thing. So the first thing I want to do with this is attack that problem head on. Is I'm going to say, hey, not a problem at all. What's your time frame on getting back to me? Because I may have showings. Maybe, oh, I'll call you next week. Okay. next week, I've got a couple things. What time next week? Try to pin down a time, a day of the week, something where they can get back to you at a specific time because otherwise, I'll get back to you turns into I'm never talking to you again. Okay. So I'll get back to you. Hey, what time next week? When? Okay, Friday. Fantastic. And here's the really important part. We haven't locked down why they're getting back to us, and we haven't locked down the real reason for them for their I'll get back to you, right? So what I want to do at this point is I want to kind of dig a little deeper without being weird. I want to say, hey, I'll get back to you. Great. What time next week? Okay, Friday. Friday is good. Let me put it on my calendar. And just so I'm ready, what do you want to talk about Friday that is bothering you now? What do you want to talk about Friday that is bothering you now? And if I can say that, or a version of that. So, hey, just so I can prepare better, when we talk Friday, what do you want to chat about? What concerns do you have that you want to review on Friday? John, is there anything between now and Friday that you might want to know so I can have that ready for Friday? Try to figure out what the game plan is for Friday and what their concerns are that you're going to meet between now and Friday, right? That's going to get you some more details into what their trepidation, hesitation, concerns, issues are. If I can get some of that answered, I'm going to know what to do. And I may even resolve that immediately. So if I say, "Hey John, what do you want to think about between now and Friday that I can help you with for Friday's meeting?" Well, it's the price. Great, now I know it's the price, right? Whatever it is, whether it's price, whether it's timing, whether it's the cash to close, whether it's if the product is the right kind of product for me. Oh, I want to see more houses. Whatever it is, I want to expose that because I guarantee you, if you let that go unanswered, okay, well, thank you. Yeah, call me back later. I'll get back to you. Great, bye. Click. I do that to salespeople when they call me. I go, hey, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. And you'd be surprised how many don't call me on it. Because sometimes we feel like if we call them on that, if we call them on the I'll get back to you, if we call them on it, we're going to lose the sale. We're going to be too pushy. We're going to sound like I said, no, no, you're a professional. You get paid a lot of money to do your job. You're a professional guy. So why don't you act like it and book them on your calendar? Why don't you act like it and put them in a place where they value your position? We talked about status in episode one, right? In show one, we talked about status and how do I frame that status, right? Or sorry, yeah, episode. No, I think it was episode two. Status. No, actually, it was episode one. Status. And we talked about if you are at the beck and call of the client at any time that if you drop everything for them, they're not going to respect or value that time. So when I can say, hey, actually, I have a couple showings that day. Can I book you at 4 o'clock on Wednesday? Would that work for you? No, Tuesday. Well, let me see. Hold on. Tuesday. Okay, can you Tuesday at 4? Nah. Now, you wanna be helpful, but you don't wanna be in the position where you can just drop everything for that client because they're gonna take advantage of that, trust me. So, as you get better and better, you're gonna status frame, and you're gonna say, "Hey, listen, just so I know, when do you wanna meet? Great. What time? Great. And between now and then, what can I get ready for you on your concerns?" Well, Ronnie, it's the cash to close. It's this, it's that, and you're gonna expand on that. I promise you, if you try this several times and you start getting better at finding the real underlying objection. In number one, we talked about episode one. Can you send me some more information? 100%. That's hiding some kind of smokescreen, right? I'm going to try to do this myself. That one comes from in episode two. That one comes from more of a standoffish. I don't need your help. I don't think I need your help point of view. But this one, I'll get back to you, is going to be very common. And you have to know how to do that. Now, when they say I'll get back to you, you can use your sales system to put them into a category that allows you to follow up with them. Now, when I have someone who is stalling on the fence, whatever the case is, I put them in a needs follow up bucket where I can put them into that needs follow up. And then I know I got to call them during my weekly call block times. If that person says, "Hey, I'm going to get back to you," I, I put them in that status, and I know Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to give them a call so we can talk about where they're at in their buying proposition, buying level. So, guys, hopefully that helps. I would say these lessons, these episodes are here to help guide you, build you, help you to think about some things, but don't get bogged down. Don't feel like you have to know everything before you initiate a plan. I would initiate a plan immediately. And once that plan is going, you can fine tune that plan. But inaction in this case will lead to no results. So, guys, hopefully that helps. Have a written system. Make sure it's repeatable. Make sure it's scalable. Have a way to include technology into that. And whenever a client tries to blow you off, find more and more illuminating questions, opening questions that are going to help to clarify what their real opposition is. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Take care and be safe.